All right, we're getting ready to begin. Here we go. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Dr. Lynn Daniel, and I am the owner of Lynn Daniel Consulting. I am a 2-year-old agency that helps doctoral candidates and edupreneurs, those who own educational-based businesses, and I help them to grow their businesses. So today we have Dr. Morton, who is here to talk about her dissertation coaching business, and she does a lot to help the doctoral candidates to finish their dissertation strong. All right, Dr. Morton, it is all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. My name is Dr. Kim Morton, and I wanted to say hello and thank you guys for coming on. I'm not sure if you can pull up the PowerPoint for me so I can go ahead and get started. Oh, and a lot of folks are in the waiting room, just to let you know.
Okay. I'm admitting all. Okay, are we sharing?
Yes, but it's the end of the slideshow.
It's the
so yeah,
end.
if we can start from the beginning.
From the beginning, there we go. Okay.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining today. My name is Dr. Kim Morton, and I go by she, her, and hers. And I own Morton Dissertation Coaching, and I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what I provide and some tips that will help you with your doctoral journey, your dissertation journey. All right, so I received my PhD at Hampton University in higher education and educational management. I am a higher ed administrator and an adjunct professor, and I have 21 years of education experience on the K-12 and higher ed and nonprofit and federal levels. I was also a political appointee and served the president at the U.S. Department of Education in Obama's administration. I serve on dissertation committees. I'm a published author, and I have grants and fundraising experience. So I really have what started my passion or wanting to really help students go through the process. So I'll tell you a couple of stories. So one of the stories is that I had a sorority sister who called me she had taken a break, and so she was going back into the doctoral program, and she had a little bit of, it was some negative stuff going on, and her mindset was kind of just wasn't there, right? And so I helped her to have a sort of a positive mindset to let her see that you have to be humble, right? You have to stay out of your own way and know that this is a process, and the process might be long, but you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so after that call, she went back to class, and then she called me a couple days later and said, Kim, oh my God, thank you so much for getting me together, because after that call, she just had a different mindset and understood what she needed to do to get done, get the dissertation done.
I want to hear, yeah. Did you walk her through some exercises?
Yeah.
Or did you give her affirmations? Like, can you dive into that?
Yeah, so I gave her some affirmations and sort of some exercises, but first we talked about a topic, right? We talked about how she can shape the topic, how she could figure out, who she was going to interview, those types of things, but not let her professors or the people, right, get in her way. I sort of affirmed her to say, you got this, you're amazing, you deserve this, right? You're in this program, you deserve this doctorate degree. And so I gave her affirmations. I sort of helped her with confidence. I sort of shifted her mind to think more positively about the process, because we all sort of get in a funk and or sort of negative about the process. And so what I had to do is talk to her about how this is sort of, if you're in a Greek or organization, this is sort of a pledging process, right? And so if you got through that, you can get through this, right? And so yeah, I just sort of coached her through that. And after that call, I was like, man, I coach people all the time and give advice all the time, but I'm really passionate about helping students who are ABD get to the finish line, and or just in the process in general, right? Because we know life happens. And so I think just really helping her see that she has this. She has all the tools that she needs. She just needs to put them into action. So yeah, so that was really great. So yeah, so that's sort of how that went. And so basically, there's a couple of people who can't get on. They're saying it's asking them to sign in.
Okay, let me see.
But let me.
I'm gonna have to change my screen so I can see.
Okay.
That. And I put that feature on. I normally don't have it, but I wanted this to be a safe environment for you.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see.
Okay.
There we are. 4 participants are waiting. So I'm admitting all of them. And okay, so that should be, I don't see anyone else waiting.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to send him the link again from.
I see Corinne, Pam, to Nai, Tahai, Saba.
Let me go to my email.
Okay.
Yeah. So at any rate,
okay. So we were on. There we go. The mindset component of the doctoral dissertation is so important because especially as a researcher, it's important to understand your purpose for researching. And it's transformative. By the end of that doctorate, you're going to be a changed human being. I mean, I was, and the circle that I interact with, almost everybody in the circle says the same thing, that, interviewing people, looking at the theoretical framework or through the lens of that theoretical framework really shifted something in them. And so it's very important, like you said, it's so important to have the right mindset and that humility to go through that process, because it is that process is gonna just unravel you in ways that you've not expected.
Yeah, and I think being the first person in my family to get a PhD, you have to rally around finding, a village, people that can write with you, and that type of thing. And I think that it is, it's important to surround yourself with people who are in that process, and then people who have already received the degree, right? Because they can help you through some things. And I'm going to talk about in my next slide what the services that I provide. So I provide coaching for qualitative dissertations from beginning of thinking about their topic to the dissertation defense. And so my coaching is sort of tailored to each student, right? And sort of helping students think of the why, like you talked about earlier. What's the passion and what's the why, and why are they doing this? And what research do they want to do? What's the gap in literature? Thinking about how will this add to the academy? How will this add to education? And so I also think of myself as a therapist for dissertations, right? And trying to help students organize themselves and help them, meet their timelines and things of that nature. So that means being on top of them and holding them accountable, right? Being an accountability partner and a thought partner. And so I also help them interpret what the dissertation chair and the methodologist wants in the document, right? Because when you're in it, sometimes you don't see it, and you can get a message from your chair, and they'll say this, and you'll think it means this, but it really doesn't, right? It really
That's
doesn't
true.
mean that.
Yeah.
So, and I also coach them through the formatting, because that's the huge piece, right? The formatting, making sure you have everything correctly, making sure you have each section correctly labeled,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you have all of your resources, all the stuff that you really need in the meat. I also help them to think through what they don't know, right? There's all these expectations of small expectations that this process may have that you don't know and nobody tells you, right? So I sort of help them through that as well. And some examples could be just that, knowing how many people should be on your committee, having somebody who's well-versed in your area, making sure your methodologist is clear about your study, right? I also help students go from unclear to clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really the hard part. There's all these things that we don't know, and a lot of us have gone through
Mm-hmm.
this process, and we don't have other people to help us. And so I think that having a mentor is important, having a village, but not only having a mentor that's finished, you have a mentor that's finished, but I also had a mentor who is in the field that I want to be in, where I want to go, right? So my plan, hopefully at some point, is to be a college president. And so I have mentors who are college presidents. So not only having a mentor throughout this dissertation process, but figuring out, what do you want to do after the dissertation?
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan, right? And where do you want to go, and having a mentor in that area. I also coach students through the proposal defense, the IRB, and the writing of chapters 1 through 5. And so all of these things are processes, right? All of these things have timelines and dates that you have to, be aware of, little small statements that you need to say, and all the appendices and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that people just don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so I'm there to sort of coach them through all of that. I also have one of my clients on the line, Leo. He's on the phone, and I wanted him to just sort of share some things that I've helped him with along the way through his process.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Morton. I had a hard time getting on, but
Thank you for
letting
being
me be on.
here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for letting me be on the call. Dr. Morton has been wonderful. To be honest with you, I was having trouble. Like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And evidently, I didn't know a lot. And she helped me and I was working on my perspectives and having trouble just trying to get that approved. And believe it or not, matter of fact, we had one session. Now, mind you, I've been working on perspectives for probably about 16 weeks total, and working with my instructors, and things just kept giving me the runaround, and things changing, the title, the subject changing, and believe it or not, I think Dr. Morton and I we had really the first meeting that we had. And she kind of walked me through some things, and trying to come up, what my title is going to be, what my subject is going to be. I mean, she walked me through it, helped me just to kind of formulate my ideas and how it was going to look. And believe it or not, by the second meeting that we had, and I, just by talking and her just giving me little bits and pieces of information that I need. I mean, very pertinent information that I needed. It was approved. Not, like I said, 16 weeks. And
Wow.
Here comes Dr. Morton, 2 days. It's just 2 sessions, 2 hours.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, oh my, yes, it was. I mean, it's just unbelievable what Dr. Morton has done. And I know she has such a wealth of knowledge. And like I said, it's gone a lot smoother, because at first I was very, very frustrated. And just God put her in my life. And so that way I was able, speaking with her and having her break down things to me and tell me things that I didn't know. And now I'm having fun doing research. I really am enjoying it. And because of this help she's given me so far, and I know there's more to come, I'm very confident that I'm going to finish my dissertation, and probably within a year. And so, I mean, if it wasn't for her, I probably, it was just so frustrating what I was going through. But I mean, she just broke it down for me. I'll tell anyone who's going through the processes to obtain a coach. It makes a lot of sense to get someone who's been there already to help you to process and go through the steps, because it's just so much information that's out there. And I mean, you can really get bogged down in just trying to figure out, okay, what I'm supposed to do. But you have someone, like Dr. Morton, she's sitting right beside you, kind of coaching you through it. It makes it a whole lot. It makes it a whole lot easier. It saves time. It takes the frustration out of it. And not only that, even if you are having some issues or some concerns, she's a good sounding board and can help you work through it.
Very good.
So,
thank you so much for your testimony.
Yes. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
She's, great. Great. I'll tell anybody that.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Leo, for coming on and participating. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your kind comments. And like I said earlier, I'm sort of like the accountability partner to making sure that students are getting what they need. Throughout the week, I'm texting him like, hey, how's it going? Happy writing, those types of things to sort of get him motivated to write or get people motivated to write. So we can go to the next slide.
Okay.
And so some of the tips that I have, there are a lot of them, as you can see, but one of them is really just being humble. Throughout my process, it was, I came from Washington, D.C. Things were very fast paced, right? Quick. And so when my dissertation chair was from Georgia. And so she was very slow and methodical. And so it was like, I had to go on her pace, right? I couldn't go on my pace, right? Because it wasn't about me. And so I quickly became humble because the process will humble you. The other tip that I have is at least write 15 minutes a day, if not more, right? An hour a day or something like that, but find a time slot, put it in your calendar, make sure it's repetitive, that you're doing it every day. Remember that this is a process. This is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, but if you can see some light at the end of the tunnel, I think you'll be able to make it. I have pray and meditate, but also any other way that, you do whatever you do to focus yourself and ground yourself is what I would suggest people to do. Because like Leo said, this process is frustrating, and it's not just one person, it's everybody. It's frustrating for everyone because you have to do revisions and revisions. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I know that was in the last revision. I know I put that in the revision before that. Why didn't they say anything then when, so it's a very frustrating process, but if you just stay humble, be positive, remember that you can get through hard things, and remember that this is just a paper. It's not your life's work, right? So once you get done with this paper, then you can write whatever articles you want after that, whatever books or whatever. The other huge thing for me is always finding a mentor, find a village, because as first person in my family to have a PhD, or first person in some people's families to have an EDD, PhD, a doctoral degree, Psych D, whatever, you have to find people who are working towards that same goal, right? So that you can have writing sessions, you can, bounce ideas off of each other, but have thought partners, because it's really important. People can help you see what you don't see, right? And when you're writing, sometimes you just don't see it, but when somebody else is helping you, then you're like, oh, okay, I see it from a different perspective. And then at the end, I have find a coach, email me. So I have my email address is mortondissertationcoach@gmail.com. You can always email me and email me for, rates. Like I said, I tailor my coaching to certain people. So if you're in prospectus phase, you're in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you can hire me along the way. So yeah, so that's all I have. And I have questions if anybody has questions for me.
All right, let's see. If you have a question, y'all can unmute yourselves.
Or you can put it in the chat.
Or yes, that's true.
But I have a comment.
Yes.
Okay.
That I think that this is really, really interesting, because many times when you go through a process of any kind, you don't realize the help that you're needing. And I think Dr. Morton has allowed us to know that having people who are familiar with the process to help us go through is so important. Knowing, because if you've been through it, then you know the questions that they're going to ask. And in many cases, people who are going through for the first time, that their frustration level is to the point where they quit, opposed to getting, a tutor or a mentor or someone to help you through the process. So this is very informative. I think that as far as maybe people who even have doctoral programs, they should suggest people like him, Dr. Kim, to help through the process.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
Dr.
so
Morton,
much, Mom. I appreciate that.
Dr. Morton, I want to ask you, what differentiates you from similar services? What is your zone of expertise?
So what differentiates how I'm different is that I tailor my program, to fit the student, right? It's not just a cookie cutter, right? I also really walk them through it, and I care about the student, right? So it's not just, okay, let me hurry up and, get them off the phone. Let me tell them what to do, give them some advice and keep moving. Mm-hmm. The other expertise I think that I have is not only, I listen, I help, and I listen to what they're saying and then sort of repeat back what they're saying, right? So that they can hear what they're asking about. So I think listening. The other part is just really advising, really helping them to think about what they want, and really, just helping them understand the process. I think those are the skills that, and then sort of, like I said earlier, what they don't know. So mm-hmm. I like to keep it real, as I would like to say. And so I think that's the most important part, because a lot of times when you're in these programs, it's, the way that people give you information, they think that you're getting it, but you're really not getting it until somebody else mm-hmm. comes back and says, no, I think this is what they meant. Right. And that's the critical part. I think really interpreting what the feedback is from your committee members. Good. It's very critical.
So you're providing, I think what really differentiates you from other services is your student, your client is getting access to you and to your wealth of knowledge. Yeah. Whereas in some other, because I had opportunities to work with another organization when mm-hmm. I was getting my PhD. Mm-hmm. And I had very limited access to like a coach or a mentor, but I had more access to information, written information, like in a ebook or in a pamphlet right. or in, a hard document of some sort. Right. And in what I've found for myself in the process of doing the doctorate, you're doing so much reading to where more reading isn't very helpful. Yeah. It's more, it's like you need someone to interpret what this information is saying.
Exactly.
Epistemology and all of these different terms, like, okay, so what does that really mean? Yeah. So for them to have access to you, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it brings me great joy. So, and I think when the light bulb happens, that's when I'm in my happy place for the student, right? When it just clicks and it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, great. So I think, that does set me apart. It's really access to me and not just, I'm helping them interpret things that they made, like you said, you might read it in an ebook, or you may have heard it on something, or a listserv or something like that. But then I say, okay, so no, this is the real deal, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the service that I provide, and I enjoy it. I love it, and I love my clients and my students, and it brings me joy when they're like, it got approved, or it's going forward, or the IRB happened, all of those things.
Yeah.
It just brings me great joy.
That's awesome. All right.
Any
Well,
other
I want to
questions?
thank you.
Oh,
If
I'm
there
sorry.
are there any other questions? Let's get a few more questions. We have time.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Dr. Morton, when you were a PhD student yourself, did you have anybody who was was there a village that helped you or through the process?
Yeah, so thank you for asking that, Corinne. I did have a village. So, well, I did have one person, my sorority sister. So I had my sorority sister, and then I had a mentor who was the college president. Well, my sorority sister was so helpful. She got me through. She was my interpreter, right? Because I talked about how when you're in it, it's hard for you to see it, right?
Yeah.
She helped me through interpreting some things that my chair had said to me, whereas I thought I was further along, and my chair was like, And so she helped me to interpret, no, she means this. No, she means this, So I think that having a mentor to help you and guide you through the process, and you can have several people, but you really have to have a core group of folks that really, really love you and really can help you through this process. And then my mentor, who's the college president, she also helped me in a way as well. She was able to say, well, Kim, do this, or Kim, maybe you should do this, or, that kind of thing. And she was sort of my affirmation person, right? My sorority sister was like keeping it real, and my other mentor was my affirmation person. And so through them, I did have a really great team of folks, because it's lonely. And I talked about that in the PowerPoint. It's a really lonely process because everybody is on their own. You're out of the cohort. It's not, in some programs you're still in the cohort, but it's still lonely because you're doing it on your own.
You're doing your own.
So, so having another person to help coach you through that, because, some people have to leave because of family situations, and then they come back. And so it's even harder sometimes. So, I think that it's necessary to have somebody in your corner. And I did have that person, which, I'm like, I'm doctor because you doctor, and that's, that's sort of how it is. It looks like
someone has
Saba,
a question.
Saba had a question. One of the reasons why she decided to forego applying for the PhD programs was because she was unsure how to navigate the dissertation process. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Saba. Yeah, so now you can go ahead and get the PhD. Just call me.
That's
Email
right.
me.
Let's go back to the email. Let me see how to.
Yeah, it's the last slide.
Navigate.
So it's Morton Dissertation Coach at gmail.com.
Let me navigate this technology.
Yeah, you can just end the.
And then I'll go back to that slide that has your.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Any other questions?
Let's see.
So how you want to get a PhD?
There we are.
Corinne, you want to get a PhD?
Current.
I have a question if I can ask.
You sure can.
Yep.
Sure. So for someone like myself, who I kind of felt like, can you hear me well enough?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Great. So I have always felt that, I didn't need to attain a PhD for the work that I'm doing, but I'm very curious about still exploring more learning opportunities. I'm curious though, Kim or Dr. Morton, as far as the work that you do to guide people like myself who may want to explore a PhD if I can find value in it. So I know you work on the dissertation coaching process, but I kind of feel like you might also have experience for people who are exploring, if
other avenues.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, you can totally reach out to me. I can help well, I work currently with undergraduate students, and so I help them through the process. That's my day job. And so I can really help students not just do the dissertation part, but explore throughout the process of what they want to do, or if they want to go to a different kind of school, or if they want to, so I can do that kind of coaching as well. And yeah, I definitely appreciate your question. Because like you said, some jobs, you don't have to get a PhD, but you may need to get an MBA, or you may need to get, a master's in public health, or something like that, an MPH. So yeah, I mean, I think I can also, coach students through that as well. Because I sort of do that now in my day job.
Great. Yeah, because I'm thinking like the PhD process has changed. So if I decided I wanted to attain a PhD, could I come to you then, and you could kind of help me figure all that stuff out?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
definitely.
Thank you.
Like where you may want to go, why you might want to go to that institution, if you want to do EDD versus PhD versus Psych D versus, all of the Ds.
Awesome. Thank you.
And yeah, so definitely could do that as well.
And in the meantime, Corinne, you might want to look into a postdoctorate or a doctorate improvement plan or professional development plan. They have different names. You can Google it and find some. Rutgers has one for medical students, and that's a very good one. I think University of Florida, one of the institutions in Florida, also has one online. But if you look at these documents, it gives you an idea of how to frame out your course of study. So let's say if you're considering a 2 or 3 year program, it shows you how to frame out those years and what to do for each semester, like what kind of goal setting should be occurring, and these types of things. So these are steps that individuals can take prior to, like, to prepare your own level of readiness, so that when you do get to the coach, you can, like, and so you can make that progress, and with the coach guiding you through it. But you'll have clarity around what the coach is recommending to you as well.
Yeah, I think that just going from that clarity, going from unclear to clear about what you want, I think that's really important, because I think a lot of students will be like, oh, I want to get a PhD because I want to teach. Well, it just doesn't work like that, right?
Right.
And so really helping students also to see, okay, so not only coaching them through dissertation, but what do you want to do? What's your plan, right? Because I think that if you don't have the plan and you just think that you're going to go to a higher ed institution to teach, it just doesn't work like that. And I think a lot of students don't recognize that or know that. So I like the fact to make sure you have a plan and to know your why before you even get started.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Let's see, we've got comments coming in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, see, people are finding value in everything that you're sharing, Dr. Morton. And I know, I belong to several groups on Facebook, doctoral dissertation groups. Yeah. Some are in progress, some have finished, some have just completed. And the conversations, the coaching is definitely needed, because the institutions are screening out students who they feel they'll take the money, they will accept you in the program. But I guess once they get you in there, they screen out the ones they feel don't really deserve the doctorate, right? And so the information is not going to come to you. You're going to have to pursue the information, and getting a coach is a way to pursue the information and to just make sure you're taking the reins on, you're owning this level of learning, you're owning your future. Because the doctorate, my mentor said, the doctorate gives you license to do the work that you want to do.
Exactly.
And so, it's more than just having letters and things behind your name. I mean, that looks good and feels good, but if you really are clear on, okay, why do I want this thing? You're going to be able to contribute to your profession in so many ways that, you know, maybe before people would not allow you to, or the gates weren't open, or you didn't have the audience, but
it's really a way to move up in your field by getting it. And so I think that, but it has to be the right thing for you, right? I don't say that anybody should get one, because I don't think everybody should get one. If you're just looking to make more money, you know, on the K-12 side, just because to get the PhD, don't do it. It's not worth it, right? Just to get the extra for $1,000. But, you know, if you're doing it because like you just said, you want to go further, you know, that kind of thing, and you really, really are passionate about it, I say do it. So yeah, I think that I also want to share that I also have free consultations. So if students or clients need consultations, I do that for free.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to end on that note. You all see that Dr. Morton's email is on the bottom of the screen. To find a coach, email Dr. Morton at mortondissertationcoach@gmail.com. And please follow her tips, and please talk to her. Call her, schedule your free consultation. All right. So thank you, Dr. Morton, for your time today. And we'll be in touch.
Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.